starting to see signs that the Fed's thesis that the recent bout of inflation will in fact prove transitory, or at least we're seeing early signs of that.
The pendulum right now is swinging in favor of those that are saying that inflation would be transitory.
I really doubt that we're going to see an inflationary cycle.
Welcome back to the show, President Bullard. Good to have you.
Glad to be on.
Inflation is the question du jour, and it is causing a lot of angst on Wall Street right now. How do you interpret these moves we're seeing in commodities and inflation expectations that's spilling over to the NASDAQ and now the broader market?
I do think we're going to see more inflation in 2021. I'd say maybe 2.5% to 3%. Reading it right now, we're certainly hearing a lot of anecdotes from our business contacts about supply chain disruption and other increases in prices of commodities, as you just mentioned. So I think we are going to see some inflation. Then I expect some of that to hang on in 2022. Maybe 2.5% in 2022. So part of that is the Fed's strategy of being less preemptive than we would have been historically, because we're trying to make up for past misses of inflation to the low side of our inflation target.
So it sounds like you're in the transitory camp. I'm trying to feel out where you are on the transitory scale. How likely is it that the Fed would have to move?
It's a good question. So some of this is transitory, but not all of it, because part of what we're trying to do is get inflation expectations cemented at the 2% target. They've been slumping down below target over the last decade, and we want to reinforce our inflation target. So we want to get inflation expectations up. 5-year break even has been trading somewhat higher here, but not at such a high level that I'm worried about it. But I do think it's encouraging for the Fed's policy that we will be able to get inflation up and over 2% over the next 2 years and allow it to be there for some time.
How big a swing factor, President Bullard, for the level of transitory nature of inflation is vaccination rates? And if we get above expectations, does that suddenly mean we're in a worrying outlook for inflation?
The vaccination process seems to be going pretty well. I would say a good baseline model to have in your head is a technology adoption model, which is always S-shaped. Whenever you see those curves, they're very slow at the beginning, then they rise rapidly, and then it's very hard to get the last part of the technology adoption. That's what's going to happen with the vaccinations here. But nevertheless, I think it's going very well in the U.S. Fatalities are coming down dramatically. Confirmed cases are down dramatically. So I think that bodes very well for the U.S. economy and our ability to reopen and put the pandemic behind us, but going very well in the U.S.